She threatens to kill me twice throughout his dirty talk. People ask Reddit. What's your craziest one-night stand story? When I was in college, I got a phone call from this girl I occasionally hung out with. She was in my college town with some friends, and said they had a hotel room with 3 girls but there were only 2 guys, and would I like to come over? I did. Girl from Tinder hits me up at 3:30 a.m. and asks to come over. Obviously a booty call, I gave her my address. She comes in with a huge ass duffel bag that has wow characters all over it. I thought it was pretty dope. Until she pulled actual dope out of it and proceeded to shoot up on my couch. She spent the next 45 minutes picking at her face in my mirror and throwing up in my bathroom. I told her she had to leave. She came over in the morning, we ducked, she made me watch the first episode of Gossip Girls, I fell asleep for 6 hours, when I woke up she was still sitting in the same position. Her phone died while I was asleep and she didn't bring her charger, so she sat there doing absolutely nothing for however long. I had to have my grandma call me so I could tell her I had to leave. She offered to stay at my house while I was at my grandma's. I did not know her at all. Reply: classic homosexual move right there. One time my friend John and I drove a couple hours to Boston for an old friend's birthday party that we hadn't seen in a while. It starts as a house party and after that sort of dies down we decided to go hit some bars. I hit it off with a girl, so we broke off from the group and stayed the night at her place. Next morning I wake up, get dressed, and head out into the kitchen. I almost ship a duckin' brick because who is sitting at the table? Duckin' John. We, completely unknown to each other, went home with girls who happened to be roommates. Reply: ha, I have a story the total opposite. One year my roommate and I went out for 9. Started at the same few parties together, eventually split off and wound up in different cities 45 minutes from each other, then reconvened back home at 4 a.m. with 2 girls we had met at the first party of the night. Not me but my college roommate. He went to a party one night, got wasted, and brought back an equally wasted girl back for some fun times. We had paper-thin walls in our apartment so I could usually hear everything, so I just popped in my earbuds and played some WoW. I hear screaming next, and not the sex kind. Apparently not 30 seconds in, she threw up all over him in his bed. Odd part is they ended up dating a while later. Visited my cousin at his university and we go out to a few bars and a club. Not sure how it happened but we become separated and my phone dies, so I have no way of contacting him or a ride back to his apartment. I buy some chicken noodles and slowly make my way in the direction I think his apartment is. Not sure how this happens either, but I managed to get somebody to call me an Uber back to his apartment, only to find out it's locked. I am able to get inside to the lobby area but not the actual hallway where his apartment is. It's around 4 a.m. at this point. Some RA-looking weirdos are in this computer lab type room typing up reports or something odd. I beg them to unlock the door and they get angry and say they are calling the cops on me, so I run back out to the lobby praying that someone is there or that the door has become magically unlocked. There's a girl now in the hallway. She's walking away from the door. I frantically knock on the door hoping she's heard me. She turns around. I breathe a sigh of relief as she's walking towards me. As we are walking back down the hallway together I realize that I'm locked out of my cousin's apartment. When I get to his door I know his drunk ass is not going to answer and I still can't call him cause of my dead phone. I notice that the girl who let me in is his neighbor. We make eye contact. She asks if I can't get in. I say I can't get in. She asks if I want to stay with her. I say I want to stay with her. I proceed to do the dirty with her while her cousin, who was actually visiting her, is sleeping in the other room. I wake up the next morning, say hi to her cousin, walk next door to my cousin's apartment, which is now unlocked, and finish my chicken noodles. Wild stuff. My cousin was baffled and so was I. Not me but my best friend in college had been speaking to this girl on Tinder and they eventually met up one night. One thing led to another and they ended up back at hers. They started going at it when suddenly the girl ran out of the room and started being violently sick in the bathroom. Turned out she hadn't been feeling well all day. My friend put her to bed, got her a glass of water etc., asked the girl if she wanted him to stay, she said no, and then he left. To get out of her student flat he had to exit through the kitchen. He ran into the girl's roommate, who my friend had met previously. They started chatting in the kitchen and then start having sex. Turns out the girl's roommate also fancied the pants off my pal. As they were just getting into it though, the girl asked them to stop, then she ran to the bathroom to also be violently sick. Turns out both roommates had food poisoning from their dinner the night before. If you want to support our new channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. We would also love to read some feedback in the comments. Thank you very much. Back when Yik Yak was a thing, a girl said she wanted a guy to watch a movie with and also hook up with. This was over spring break, so campus was dead. I was at my apartment next to campus because I had an internship and she was a foreign exchange student staying on campus. Anyway, I respond to her and we comment back and forth, then exchange Snapchats. She ends up being pretty cute, and since I had a roommate and she didn't, I made the trek across campus to her place. It ends up she has a bunk bed. It was like a top bunk with her desk underneath type of setup. So I climb up and we squeeze together in her twin-size bunk bed. 5 minutes into the movie, we start going at it. It went about 2 hours, which is not a brag because I did not have the cardio to last that long. I barely made it out alive. We were trying every position we could, but when the roof was only 6 inches above me, it was really tough. We eventually make it to the end, and I walk to the hall bathroom to clean up. I woke up early for my internship, so we said bye and went on our merry way. I didn't hear from her or see her again until she texted me during finals asking if I stole her passport. I didn't, because who would do such a thing? It wasn't supposed to be a one-night stand. We had worked together for roughly a year, and he spent the entire time thinking I was a lesbian. To be fair, he was half right. He finds out from his roommate / our boss that I'm not, and he asks for my number. We flirty text for a while. I'm really digging this dude. He finally asked me to meet him and some friends for New Year's Eve. We meet up, get completely shit-faced and spend the whole night all over each other. We go back to his place. We proceed to break the bed frame and forget that his windows are open, so the entire neighborhood heard everything. In the process of breaking the bed, I had fallen and bruises the entire left side of my hip / back / leg / butt. But we can't tell anyone at work, no dating policy. So we decide to keep it under wraps. We keep talking, keep texting, things seem great. I move into a new place and we talk about christening the apartment. Then Friday comes along and he leaves for lunch and never comes back. Our coworkers are calling the hospitals and police departments. This isn't like him. Or so we thought. He turns up over 2 days later, knocking on his roommate's door at 3 a.m., explaining that he spent his entire paycheck and bank account on strippers and coke. He is promptly shipped off the rehab in New York. He calls me from the airport to apologize and swears I'll be the first person he calls in 90 days. That was January of 2009. Never did get that phone call, but I did recently see him on Facebook and he looks happy and clean, so I'm happy for him. About a week after I got dumped, I posted a shirtless picture on our r subreddit and a girl in my city was interested. We exchanged pictures and arranged a drinking date. Met for drinks, seemed to like each other fine, agreed to go to her place. On the way there, she stopped at a pharmacy and bought lube. Went upstairs to her condo. We start fooling around. Clothing comes off and we start ducking. A few minutes in, she gets up and says, "You know what I love about one-night stands? I don't have to be someone I'm not. I'm going to go do some drugs. Do you want some drugs?" Proceeds to bump coke off her kitchen table. We duck again. She threatens to kill me twice throughout his dirty talk. Walk home in a daze. Pretty confused about life and feeling soul drained. Buy a burrito. Bump into a friend I hadn't seen in almost 10 years who'd apparently moved next door. Weird night. I had a one-night stand and a BJ the morning after, on a cruise ship. We were flirting up at the bar late one evening, and went on a walk around the ship. We ended up going up the helipad at the front of the boat and started getting a little heavy. We went ahead and did the damn thing, only to realize after that the entire bridge crew could clearly see us ducking at the front of the boat like a dirty Titanic reenactment. The next day she came by my cabin, and we had a round 2 on the balcony of my cabin. I got blown while enjoying the view of the Caribbean Sea in the morning sunshine. It was pretty damn great. Thank you for listening to another B-Town Reddit Stories episode. Hit the subscribe button and check out our channel for more stories. Let us know your opinion about this topic in the comments.